You're listening to The Next Chapter is Hers, a podcast about healing, growth, and becoming the main character of your life. We are your hosts, Hannah
and Heather, sisters, storytellers, and your weekly hype women.
Welcome back, main characters. Mom, Dad, if you listen to this,
Sorry.
I'm so sorry. Trigger warning, parents, please leave before listening.
Yeah.
Don't mind me, just have a little sippy poo.
Ooh, how do we start this one?
Welcome back, main characters. Today's episode is all about sex.
Baby, let's talk about you and me. You guys want to come in for this one?
Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex.
Let's talk about sex. So today we have literally my best friend in the entire world on the podcast today, which means it's slumber party vibes. We're having some espresso martinis.
Are they espresso martinis?
Well, the espresso machine broke.
They're
so
like,
there's not really espresso in it.
They're Fespresso-a-tini.
Espresso.
It's like a coffee teeny.
Yeah.
It didn't.
What did you call it? A queen?
Ooh, so the main liquor in it is actually the Queen from Portugal. It is like a local made Bailey's type, but it's like cinnamon rice pudding-y flavored.
What is it called?
The Queen.
Oh, okay. Just the queen.
It's delicious.
It is delicious. This is a delicious drink. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's kind of going down like chocolate milk.
That's how they get you.
Ooh, the police.
Guys, I'm rocking extra sexy voice today. I'm the trees outside my house are attacking me, so I have a little bit rasp going on here.
She's got her sex voice on.
Nice.
Yes, so if
In
you like-
fact,
That's the
everybody,
perfect voice for this kind of a
I
thing.
was going to say, everyone clear your throat. Let's get into this.
yeah. Wait, we actually introduced Tina. Did you say her name?
I don't know. Did I?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, so my name's Tina.
Yeah, say it, baby.
I'm from New Jersey. I am a boudoir photographer and, oh God, yeah, I almost said all-around hype woman, which I don't want to say. I don't want to be known as. So, yeah, I'm just like a boudoir photographer, but also,
You're good at this.
You're
I'm really excited.
I'm nervous.
Tina's a sexpert.
Yeah, I guess I would consider myself a sexpert. I go through phases, but I also would consider myself a girl's girl.
Yeah.
And I just like love giving advice, and I love, I'm not a mother per se, but I do love to mother. So I just love getting into like conversations with my friends about sex and about pleasure and women's, or just like humans' right to pleasure. And I think it's a really important conversation. And I think there's a lot of stigma surrounding being sexual as a woman. You know, I mean, there are a lot of people in this sphere that do a lot of work to help that, but I don't think you can ever stop having that conversation.
Snaps for Tina. Snaps for Tina.
We've all got our sex phone voices on tonight.
I have a super deep voice anyway. It's because of the weed. Yeah, we all have our sexy voices going, right?
Yeah. You guys are all going to owe $5.99 a minute after listening to this podcast.
God. We'd make a killing. We'd make a killing. I actually know somebody who does that for a living.
How do they do?
She doesn't do phone calls. She does like late night texting. Ton of work on OnlyFans, and they just opened up an agency, actually.
Wow.
Where they essentially do all the back end chatting for a ton of porn stars and OnlyFans creators. And they make a killing. Make a killing.
I saw on TikTok there's an app that you can.
There is.
Just
I've been
text.
sent it before. It is a dirty chat GPT.
What does that mean?
It means it is a sexting robot that you can talk to.
That's not where I was going to go.
Oh, that's where I was going.
No, it's I think it's called Meet, MEET. I think that's the name of the app.
MEAT?
No, MEE.
That's a good sex ad right there.
Yeah.
No, you go to the meat market.
No, but you get paid. You get paid to just text with people. Like you could just sign up and be like somebody that like
Yeah.
dudes could just
It's
pay to
almost
text
like
you.
it's almost like being like a professional cuddler.
Dude,
Ooh, a
guys heard of
professional
that before?
cuddler.
Yeah, have you heard of that before?
I have heard of that before.
It's like professional intimacy provider.
Yeah, they like can massage your hair, and you
Yeah.
can like
Hug, spoon, cuddle,
back
rubs, feet rubs.
this is amazing.
Yeah, and people will pay an hourly rate to come have somebody come to them, or you go to them and you cuddle for an hour. And honestly, I think that is something that should be provided by people's insurance.
Ooh,
Because that would do so much. I saw somewhere that it said you need like 8 to 10 hugs a day just for maintenance, right? So like technically you need more. You need more than 10 hugs a day, right? But people who live alone, people who aren't in relationships, maybe people who are isolated, they don't have access to 8 to 10 hugs a day.
I was reading this also, and they were talking about how the longer the hug, the more it's actually been changing people's like gene like pools,
Absolutely.
right?
I've heard of that before.
Have you heard about like the rule at Disney that like the characters can't release a hug until the person that they're hugging releases from them?
No.
Like it's just part of their training that if they give someone a hug, that they hug until the other person lets go.
That's pretty amazing though, because it
Yeah.
really does something psychologically to your brain. It makes you feel wanted and loved, and that's really, really awesome.
I know.
Yeah, I love that.
Pulls at my mommy heartstrings watching those
Yeah.
videos of little kids hugging like Disney characters.
That's so cute, yeah.
Also a little creepy.
No, I mean, like, I think that's really cute. I'm not necessarily a Disney lover, but yeah. I mean, I'm not necessarily like a giant character in a costume lover. Yeah,
No?
but it's not my thing.
Well, we can bring it back to sex now by talking about furries.
I mean, I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum.
No. So do we want to answer some questions?
I thought it would be really funny to ask each other some questions. So I made a list. Well, I made 3 lists. The first list is kind of like tame questions. They don't really necessarily have to pertain to you or me. It could just be something that like, you know, one of us answers or all of us answer. The second list is things like a little bit more, okay, getting a little bit more sexy. And then the third list is like pretty racy questions that you can opt out of answering. I feel like this is a really good question to start with. What's your go-to song for setting the mood, and why does it work for you?
Ooh.
And it doesn't have to be like with anybody. It could just be like when you're alone, you know, a song that makes you feel like sensual and embodied.
Ooh, I feel like I need to have my phone in my hand for this question, because there's like, you could like kick it old school, but like 90s R&B or something, you know?
Totally.
Little Ursher baby.
I think Mike and I have some go-to playlists, like YouTube playlists that are just like,
YouTube playlists?
you know, because when you're a parent, you have sex like when your kids are asleep. And
Yeah,
my kids
it's like that or Coco Melon. Baby shark doo 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 doo.
we don't watch Cocomelon in my house, but either way, yeah, no. So it's like, you know, after Harlow's in bed, it's usually YouTube because we're, you know, just in the bedroom at nighttime. But there's some pretty good like moody like.
I'm not gonna lie, I've actually used the playlist that you put on my phone during a boudoir session one time.
Yeah.
It's called Sex Me Up on Spotify.
Nice.
Or songs I want to get.
Songs I want to get fucked
to.
to.
Oh.
Songs I want to get fucked to.
You say the word, I'll do the bagak. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Songs I want to get fucked to on Spotify.
We got to keep it PG.
Oh, man, so funny.
Yeah, we have to keep a sex episode PG.
No, fuck that.
I was gonna say, please.
It's gonna be real boring.
Please, God.
We're not vanilla around here.
Definitely not. Okay, yeah.
What would
I
your
love
song
that.
be? Did you answer that?
I didn't answer that. I I don't actually like to listen to music during sex. But I do like to listen to music to get myself hyped up
Before sex.
before sex.
Yeah.
Wait, do you
Or-
have sex in like the silence?
She whispers in each other's ears.
I mean,
There's
do
too
I
much
have
going
sex
on in
the
my
silence?
head.
No, me and my partner are like actively talking to each other for most of the time that we're having sex. Like we're talking back and forth like dirty talk.
Like, did you take the trash out or like different kind of dirty?
No, do you like that?
Ooh.
And
But there's nothing else in the background.
no,
Just their heavy breathing.
yeah, just our heavy breathing and the sounds of our bodies. And
I think there's too much that goes on in my brain to be able to separate myself from, like, I can hear the fan. The garbage truck is coming down the street. I don't know.
That's interesting. I think that
Most of the time, I don't listen to music either.
I've never been into listening to music during sex. I think, excuse me. Yeah, I've never been into listening to music during sex. It's always kind of felt, for me, it's always just kind of felt not genuine, like a genuine,
like disconnected almost.
Yeah, but that's just like a me personal thing. You know what I mean? I like to really, I'm very into like talking.
Communication is key in good sex.
Verbal communication is important to me. And I would say like a lot of my kink is verbal
praised.
communication. And yeah, just like communication back and forth and, you know, telling each other what feels good, telling each other what we need in the moment. And yeah, I've also noticed that like when I'm verbal with Joe, he is a lot more engaged and a lot more he just like enjoys himself more.
Love that.
So, yeah.
I love that. Okay, question 2.
Shouldn't have had that seltzer. I'm regretting.
Have you ever tried a dating app just for fun? What was your experience like?
Yeah, I definitely have tried. I've tried so many dating apps. I think one or two that I kind of downloaded and never really went through with like meeting anybody off of. One of them was Field. I used to look a lot on Field, but I never like met anybody off there. And it's kind of like an app for like people who are like kinky. And I would say it's like an alternative dating app, right? So there's dating apps like Tinder and Bumble and Hinge. And I thought that I wanted that for a long time. And then I had it and I was like, I don't want this. So it was a really fun experience. So ethically non-monogamous, which I mentioned before, is like this term that a lot of people use for when you go out and you know, are with multiple people, and it can be an actual relationship that you're in with multiple people, or situationships, or you're just, you know, dating openly. I think it can mean many different things, but yeah, a lot of people on Field are ENM, ethically non-monogamous. And then there's all these other things that happen on Field, like kinky people can meet on Field, and people who have certain fetishes and proclivities, sexual proclivities that might be considered other. So Field is a really great place for people like that, people like me.
I have no dating history, no dating app history. Dating apps didn't exist when I was dating.
Yeah.
That like wasn't
That
the
must have been
thing.
so nice.
I actually went on one date. I had like a
From Craigslist.
No. This was like
Holy
back
shit.
in like
It was literally Craig.
It was back
no, what was like the OG like
Christian Mingle?
No, like
Plenty of Fish.
no, those are all religious.
It was the original
Like
eHarmony.
It might have been eHarmony. eHarmony, or there was one more.
Ashley Madison.
No. Whatever that like original, it was like a free weekend situation. I was like, all right, I'll put a post up. I met a guy. I went on one date from a dating site.
And that was enough to cure you, huh?
We met at a bar at like, I don't know, like 8:00 at night. No big deal. Like we're not going to go out to dinner. We're just going to like hang out. And 30 minutes in, this guy like named our 3 children and sang me our wedding song.
Absolutely not.
And then
That sounds like a dream.
I was like, I'm going to go home. And he's like, can I follow you to make sure you get there? I was like,
No.
absolutely not.
Please not.
I drove in circles for like an hour and a half and then went home.
Yeah.
That was
That's
and then I
terrifying.
deleted my profile and never
Can we talk about worst dates ever?
Yeah, if you get closer to the mic.
Worst dates ever from on a dating app.
Yeah.
So, this is actually like
This is great. I'm so excited.
This is a really good story that me and my friend Becky love telling back to each other, back and forth, because I actually had to call her to come and rescue me while I was on this date.
Oh, no.
I was at this bar, and this guy shows up, and we had been talking back and forth, and he was nice, and like I am the kind of person who, you know, I tried to not judge a book by its cover, and initially when I saw him, I was like, okay, like I'm not initially super attracted to him, but I will still go and sit with him and see if, you know, there's chemistry. He like showed up just looking like he was working. He had come from work, but he was like so disheveled and so sweaty. Obviously, I was probably like nervous, so I give him, you know, a little bit of leeway. But like, we're sitting next to each other, and just like there's no chemistry whatsoever. And I'm like looking at him, and he's wearing a collared shirt, and right on his neck
was a kiss mark.
It's like eye level with my eyes was a pimple.
Oh my god.
That was probably the biggest pimple I've like ever seen in real life.
Oh my god.
And I was just
I'm
like
at Taylor's face right now.
I was just like honestly so beyond like shocked. I think that, I mean, I don't know. I guess I was just like freaked out.
But it was staring at you the whole time.
It was staring at me the whole time. It started a fucking conversation with me while I was trying to be on a date with this guy. It was not cool. It was not cool.
You're like, I'm sorry, you brought a guest with you?
They were fighting over me. No, sorry. I feel mean. I just was like super taken aback, and I just felt like that sent a message to me that he didn't really care like how he came off or what he looked like before he came out on the date with me. Like, you couldn't even put a turtleneck on, bro. You know,
a little cover up,
something, maybe like popped your collar. You know, so I freaked out, and I'm not proud of myself for doing this, but I called my friend Becky and I said, you have to come to this bar and rescue me.
Oh my god. And
she did. She rolled up. She was there in like 15 minutes.
And what did she do? She walked in there and was just like...
She walked in there and she was just like, oh my God, hey, what are you doing here? And he totally knew. He knew.
Oh my God.
And she sat with us for like 10 minutes. And then I was like, all right, well, you guys want to like go outside and smoke or something? To kind of like try and move it along. And he was like, no, I'm just going to get going. I was like, all right, well, see you later. And then me and Becky bounced out. And...
Damn.
He messaged me the next day and was like, I thought it was really weird that your friend came to that date. And I was like,
you're right.
That's valid. I was like, that's valid.
You're like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was like, you know, definitely sorry about it. And then he like asked me out again. And I was like, I'm just sorry. I didn't tell him why. I didn't say anything. You don't need to hurt his feelings, you know?
You know?
I was just like,
And now he's listening to this podcast, finally getting all the answers he needs.
Oh my God. Hope not. I don't remember his name, but this was maybe like 15 years ago.
Man, I'm not gonna lie, I had the most fun ever going on dates and like living that part of my life for like a hot minute.
It is fun. It is fun when there's no strings attached and you don't have like... This seltzer's gonna kill me.
Maybe stop drinking it then.
Yeah, sorry, I'm thirsty.
When I became single, I think that's when I learned all of my confidence. I feel like I became a new bitch overnight, and I was like, you know what?
Well, I don't think it was overnight. But...
Well, took a little bit of time. It was fine. But baby, we're back.
For sure.
No, I don't know. Like, it was something fun about, I love sitting down and getting to know people and like crawling into their souls. So like, I was always the one on the dates who was like digging deep, right? I'm like, are we compatible?
So, what's your social security number?
And it was just so much fun getting to know people and like why they were, you know, dating the way that they were, or I don't know. There's just so much joy in getting to know other people.
I think there is a lot to be said about also, you know, you having one or two, maybe three partners max your whole life.
I know.
And, you know, you
and they
got
all
out
sucked and like never wanted to do anything fun.
You got out of this relationship and you're like, wow, there's
I was like,
so
there's
much more to
go-kart
men
tracks
than
and like mini carts and fun things, and boys want to sit here and listen to me, and they're not on their phones. That was like the best, sitting and like going out to dinner, and they're not on their phone, and they're just like fully engaged with you.
Because they're on their best behavior
Yeah,
for one date.
yeah. I'll take it. I'll go. I would have gone on 100 first dates. Well, some of them really sucked, but
you know what? I feel like I said this to you a million times. It's all part of the experience. Dating is so important because that is how you find out what you really like and what you really don't like.
yeah.
And I think that so many of us are used to accepting the bare minimum. Like I said before to Taylor, it's a numbers game. You know, that's how you find your perfect partner. You give a lot of people a shot. And if they don't work for you, you say, hey, you know what? I wish you the best of luck. The sex was really great, but that's not enough.
So numbers are my favorite, actually. I love being really analytical.
Virgo ass.
So when I was dating, it was by a point system.
Oh, I remember this. I remember
Yeah.
this.
And it was like, okay, I had to like 10 things about this person before I even accepted a date. It was like how I set boundaries with people.
Mhm.
It was like, sorry, you don't like meet my quota.
Mm-hmm. And
You
it was almost like you were so emotionally shot from your past relationship that you needed to go by a literal number system because
Yeah.
you couldn't trust your emotional triggers
Yes.
to tell you the truth.
Yep. And
But
I was like,
it's-
not going to get myself gaslit again.
Yeah.
Wasn't going to get love bombed. Like, I needed to be sure.
Smart though.
So yeah, 10 points, 10 things I had to like about you, or 10 things you had to have that were like on my list of things I wanted in order for me to go on a date with you and like give it a shot. And then, you know, nobody ever made it past 20 points.
Except for Josh.
was
Except
just
for
gonna say
Joshua.
that.
He's high up there. He still gets points all the time.
Yeah, that's how it
He's
should
at
be.
like 300 points.
That's
literally-
because they should never stop trying.
Do you want to know
To
the
get
crazy
points.
thing though? Is part of me was like, oh, you know, like once this man gets like 100 points, I'll think about becoming their girlfriend or something, or becoming their like wife, or like, oh, 100 points. Like, I was setting the bar so low at first, and then every date that I went on, I was like, oh no, we got to push this point system to like 20 to 30. And
But
then it was
I
just-
also think that was because you learned to love your solitude.
yeah, it
you
was like you had
realized-
to add to my life.
You were like, oh my God, why the fuck would I let you into my beautiful home, into my beautiful life, into my beautiful family
yep,
if you are not, if
Adding
you're
to
not
it.
adding to it?
yeah.
Why would I ever do that again?
No one ever made it past there except for Joshua.
Yeah,
The best. Anyways, do you want to get back to sex?
sure.
Okay. What is a quirky or unconventional item you think should be in every couple's bedroom?
Quirky or unconventional?
Or just like a sex toy, or maybe something that's like fun to have in the bedroom that you think every couple should have?
Okay, so I feel like this is a hard question to answer without like acknowledging that some people have different parts and bits.
Oh, I was just going to say like a sex swing or something.
But
Everybody's gonna
I
do
would
that.
definitely say something that I love having in the bedroom is just that really easy under the mattress bondage kit. Simple,
Just your everyday
easy
strap.
Hard
It's-
points from the ceiling.
No.
bedpost.
Nobody needs a hard point from the ceiling. I mean, I do, but you know, most people don't unless they knew what it was, and then they'd be like, "Yeah, I need that." A hard point from the ceiling is like a hook or something that you would drive into a beam in the ceiling so that you could hang some sort of a swing or other fun.
Chains, ropes.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Strikes your fancy.
Yeah, whatever strikes your
Your
fancy.
husband.
Me. My husband would be the one doing the hanging.
What would you
Honestly,
recommend for everyone to have in the
I'm
bedroom?
so dead serious when I say that. Like the simple black cheap bondage kit that comes from Spencer's or
Just to, like, lock up the
Hot
arms?
Topic. Yeah, you can link your arms, you can link your ankles. You can do either or, you can do both at the same time so you're like a starfish. And obviously only do this with somebody that you trust,
Yeah.
right? But it's such a fun way to kind of like get started in that type of thing. I mean, obviously you could always get started with just
tie.
a tie
Blindfold.
or a blindfold, if you want to, like, if you're really at the beginning and you're really kind of just exploring. But if you are looking for something to add to your bedroom, that would be really fun. I think those kits are like $30, and they Velcro, or it's like a little fabric strap that goes around your wrist, and it's easy to get out of, and it just makes for a fun time. You could go in it, your partner could go in it, and you can like cuddle afterwards and talk about how it felt. Hopefully you're gonna like not want to cuddle, and you're gonna want to like go for it. You know what I mean? So I mean, it all depends, but I think anything that starts a conversation between you and your partner and facilitates a healthy sexual conversation is good. I know it's going to be different for everybody, right? Because we're all at different like sexual levels. And if somebody listening were to be at like a beginner level and they wanted to do something fun and exciting with their partner, you could ask each other questions. I have a really cute box set of questions that's kind of like a conversation starter.
Oh, yeah.
Based on intimacy, right? And so like it's got all these different sections of questions: sex questions, intimacy, emotional intimacy questions, and make it a habit of pulling one or two of those cards a night, before bed, and talking about it, or after sex, during aftercare. I try to do it with Joe sometimes, and sometimes the questions can be a little cringy, so he's like, eh. But I love those question cards. I think they're really healthy.
What is the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened during a romantic encounter?
Okay, it's not even that embarrassing. Okay, so most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me during a hookup was I was making out, and it was like maybe the first or second time I ever made out with my husband. My husband. And we're like in a really hot and heavy makeout session, and I'm like sitting on his lap facing him, and we're like fully clothed, and I start to feel that I'm getting like my period, and I was like, shit. So I'm just like, just give me 1 second. I like run to the bathroom, and I realize that I bled through my pants.
Oh no. It's like a
so
super
I'm like
bag moment.
Sweating in the bathroom, like shit. And I walk outside into the living room, and he's like sitting on the couch, and I walk up to him, and he's got a huge blood stain on his pants. And I just looked at him, and I was like, I am so sorry. And he was like, what? And I was like, look at your pants. And he was like, oh. And he was cool about it.
Oh.
And that was it.
Love that.
That's my embarrassing story.
Why did my brain go to like...
And actually, I brought it up to him like maybe a year ago, and he didn't even remember that it happened. Like, That's how obsessed with my hands. So much he loves me. Yeah, so that's my embarrassing hookup story. Hannah, what's your embarrassing hookup story?
I don't think I have any embarrassing ones. I'm trying to think.
Like farting, queefing, but like that's not like that.
Oh yeah, whatever. Yeah.
It's just a Tuesday night queef.
Just a Tuesday night queef. Oh man, that was amazing.
The noise.
I really wanted to riff on that, but I couldn't think of anything. Tuesday night
just
queef.
Stand up and just right.
Yeah, like literally. I used to get so self-conscious about that when I was younger. Like you'd be having sex and then you'd like, queef a little bit and you'd be like, no, stop. No. But now it's just like,
you're quite literally
you're going in the
air.
You're fucking going in the wrong way, man. Fucking adjust yourself. Like when you were younger, you was like, it's my fault, me and my big airy vagina. And now you're like, bro, your fucking angle. You're the one with the tool.
Stop pushing my head down more.
No, I mean, like, I'm cool with. That is cool to me.
Oh my God. Okay. What is the naughtiest text you've ever sent or received? And did it lead to anything spicy?
Naughty texts I can do.
Right? I fucking love sexting.
Yeah.
Tina seems unamused with sexting.
Oh, please. Yes.
Yes?
lots of sexting.
Yeah. Right?
One of my favorite things to do
Ooh.
to this day,
Mhm.
and I don't know if you can still do it on Tumblr, but you used to be able to, well, Tumblr's a whole different conversation. I used to have a dirty Tumblr. Anyway, so you used to be able to go on Tumblr and download these really filthy porn clip GIFs. That was
Oh.
just like a quick GIF of like a guy like railing a girl. So intensely, and it's like the angle of like the balls and the butthole, and you're just like, and I would like send those texts as a text. I'd be like,
Oh.
hey, what are you doing later? Like, literally. And so sometimes my husband will be like, I mean, I haven't sent one of those to him in a long time.
You should
but
send one right now.
Right
see if he
now.
responds.
Do
I
it.
don't have my phone. It's on the thing.
God damn it.
We'll do it later. I'll do it later.
You can text him from my iPad if you want.
Yeah. He'd be like, what is happening?
Just do it for the plot.
I think he would panic. He would panic. No. Yeah. So you used to be able to go on Tumblr and get these like really amazing, sexy gifts that were so fun to use in the game of sexting. But then also you'd be like sending sexy selfies and stuff like that. And like
which
texting.
we love.
Oh my God.
We love a good
It's my
sexy
bread and
selfie.
butter, baby.
Same. I mean, we literally make a living
Hell
off
yeah.
of it.
Literally. Literally.
I think my new favorite feature is with the iPhone, how you can like blur an image before you send it, like a secret. They have to like.
Oh, you're always up and hip on the new iPhone updates, dude.
Well, listen, I sent a nudie once,
Once.
and my
Liar.
and my current boyfriend. I almost said husband. My current boyfriend.
Freudian
and he was
slip.
like, "Babe, I'm on tour bus and I can't open this in front of everybody." And I was like, "Oh, let me zhuzh it out." You know, like the little genie bottle it. Mm-hmm.
So now you have to be vigorously rubbing your phone
Yeah.
in front of everyone.
That looks
Just
way
see my
less
titties.
suspicious.
Over and over.
This is
and
my
over
girlfriend. I
again.
just talked to my girlfriend over here, guys.
I think he's playing like Candy Crush. He's trying to
Exactly.
see your tits.
Yeah, exactly.
So funny.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a long distance relationship. You know, you gotta...
Dude, I get it, man.
surprise tits are the best tits.
You
also.
probably have more naked selfies on your phone than ever.
Oh yeah, of
Yeah.
myself. Yeah,
Your phone is probably like 60% naked selfies right now. Probably more.
maybe. Now I'm gonna get fucking hacked.
Fuck it. Let's just put them on OnlyFans.
You know what? I know. Seriously,
Make the money, girl.
Oh my god! Before they get hacked.
It's your bag.
I'm a good girl. I promise. I am a good girl.
Yeah, me too. That's what my daddy calls me. Heather's face. Ew.
I am. Heather's pretty quiet on this topic right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Heather.
She's in her show.
I don't have much of a voice left.
Oh my god! Wow,
it was a little bit too much.
is.
Last night, you know what I mean?
That in the YouTube playlist, man. It was over.
Mike and I are spicy. We get spicy. Don't
Okay,
worry. Don't worry.
I feel like,
Oh, I'm not worried.
in fact, she's the least worried she's ever been.
Yeah, I really am.
She's a martini deep and a joint in.
No, I'm not. I mean, I have this joint right here.
And this is what happens in a sleepover in your 30s.
Oh yeah, I'm still in my 30s. That's nice.
What do you think every woman needs to hear about sex? Like, what is advice that you think every woman needs to hear? There's some women who are very open about their sex lives. There's some women who are very closed off. There's some women that have wanted to explore more but have been scared. What do you feel like would give a woman power during sex?
He's going to like anything you do.
Ooh, okay.
That's good advice. I would say that his pleasure is secondary to your pleasure.
Hmm.
And tell him that.
Not just tell him that, but
Communicate it.
don't be dishonest about your orgasm.
Yeah. Stop faking your orgasm.
Stop faking your orgasms.
Because that's not helping
We're
anybody.
done with that.
Yeah.
We're done with that. We're not doing that anymore.
No.
It's totally okay to not have an orgasm. I have had great sex with no climax many, many, many times. That's mostly be because I've had a lot of partners who didn't know what they were doing, right? And you actually have to put in the work and learn about a woman's body if you want to be a good lover.
And you can sometimes just have super great sex and your brain's not 100% there. But
Yeah.
like, you're like,
Yeah,
this
but it's
is
super
fantastic.
embodied and sensual, and you're really emotionally connected. An orgasm is not the end
All be all.
the end all be all. The experience is the journey, is the sex, is the foreplay.
Yeah.
Foreplay is like everything. And what's the other thing that I love when I heard this? Foreplay starts when you wake up in the morning. For that night.
Yeah. Doing
Foreplay
the dishes
starts
a little bit in the morning, making you some breakfast,
coming
bringing
into
you up a smoothie.
coming into the kitchen and putting his hands or her hands, or I'm saying this because I know not everybody that is listening has a male partner, right? You wake up in the morning, you go into the kitchen, you're making your partner coffee. They come into the kitchen, they wrap their arms around your waist and they just pull you in and they kiss your neck.
Yep.
That's
the
how
best
you
foreplay.
start a morning.
Talking to each other, like pillow talk.
Yeah,
back and
all
forth.
morning, little texts all day. And it doesn't have to be sexual, but it does have to feel caring and intentional.
Yeah. And like using their love language, like understanding your partner's love language. Like I love touch. So waking up with my partner and being able to like feel his hands on my body and just holding me like.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other thing is like you get home, right? And you guys have both had a long day and maybe you make dinner together and you eat dinner together and then you lay on the couch and you watch TV.
You're like rebooting and like.
Right. And you just
out.
spend the time with each other. But sometimes I've found that it's easy to get into the habit of like not feeling sexy because we just go right from work to like TV and shutting our brains off. And I feel like a little more engagement at night when we're sitting on the couch could definitely lead to like better. Go ahead. What do you think?
This leads me into another question.
Yeah, go ahead. Ask me.
Are you guys morning sex people or night sex people?
I am pigeonholed into night sex people.
Because of your child.
Because of my child. But there was a period last year that like I'd wake up in the morning. It was a medication I was on. But I'd wake up in the morning and be like on fire. And Mike would be like getting ready for work. And I'm like, we need to fuck real quick. And he was like, what? I'm like, yeah, you heard me.
You heard me.
So I love morning sex. And I actually read something once. It might have been just like a Instagram post or a podcast clip, right? About how if you prioritize morning sex, it will change your relationship completely. Because you start off your day filling your cup.
Or your vagina.
Oh my God.
Or your butt.
Oh my God.
Just kidding.
But you
Just
fill
kidding.
your cup in the morning, so like you're more energized throughout the day. You feel better about going to work throughout the day. You feel less like clingy and detached from your partner when you're not with them through the day. So
Totally.
you're not like feeling like you need to be on top of them, texting them all day. And then when you get home, you can relax and you can share that intimacy by cooking dinner together or watching TV. And like being tired is okay then because like you've already filled your cup up in the morning, you know?
Mike and I started intentionally having fuck first dates.
Oh, yes.
So instead of like going out and having dinner or going to the movies or like whatever you do.
That's so smart.
You know, because at the end of the night, it's like, you know, you go and you have dinner and you're like, oh, God, I don't really feel like, you know, we had fun.
Unfortunately, that is me, dude.
You're like,
that
I
is
had
me
mac and
100%.
But it's like, so you know, we'll drop Harlow off at Auntie Hannah's house. We'll just head home. Fuck.
Good for
Bang it
you.
out.
And then we'll go have dinner or do whatever it is we're going to do.
Hell yeah. And you guys are like super connected the whole time and
Yeah.
staring into each other's eyes like you're 17 years old again and just like goo goo gaga.
Yeah, and we
for
don't
each
have
other.
we don't have to rush through it because we don't have any plans.
There's no expectations of sex at the end of the night that
Yeah,
it's
you can
going
eat
to
mac and cheese
stress
later.
you out. Yeah. So that's my problem. My hormones are just totally destroying my sex drive for the last like couple years, and I am so over it. Joe is definitely like a morning sex kind of guy, and I am an evening sex kind of person.
Yeah.
Always. I always have been.
Wow, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I've always been an evening kind of person, I guess, when it comes down to it. But I don't know. I have to like I have to go and get a hormone panel because I just have not been feeling like I want sex at all. And that is definitely a hormone thing. It's like crazy from being like hypersexual since I was like, I don't know, 15 or 16 years old to being like completely uninterested in sex at 37 years old. It's pretty interesting. And I know a lot of women experience that. So, yeah.
When you slowly faded off into the distance.
What's the most adventurous or unexpected place you've ever gotten frisky? I'm not going to answer this question. Tell me, baby girl, because I need to know.
I feel like I'm boring. I feel like I'm like a car.
I had sex on the beach in Cape Cod
Okay.
at night.
Okay.
Sounds like a yeast infection.
It was like a bent over an igloo cooler kind of situation.
Oh my My brain instantly went to the sand.
No,
Just sand everywhere.
No, you can't put yourself in the
Yeah,
sand.
my sensory issues could never.
No.
I feel sand between my toes, and I'm like tweaking out.
Joe hates the beach too.
It's so sticky.
He hates it. That's so funny.
If you had to give a TED talk titled "How to Rock Someone's World in Bed," what's slide one?
Oh.
Saliva.
Ooh, keep that bitch slippery.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's definitely a good one. How to rock somebody's world. What's slide one? A picture of my face. A picture of a mouth where the lips are covering the teeth.
Just take those dentures out, baby.
Just like a picture of lube.
Okay, if you had a signature sex move, what would it be called? And describe it. Okay, so I think I would call mine like the wobbly knees.
Okay.
Wobbly knees.
Wobbly knees. You know how like Meg the Stallion's got like Meg knees? Right?
No, I don't.
We're old.
What do you mean?
Please explain.
What?
What?
I've never heard that before.
You've never heard Meg the Stallion?
Magnesium?
Like her knee, like she is known for like.
I take magnesium at night.
Oh my god. Okay, well, some famous rapper, female rapper, is known by having great knees and being able to do all those like sexy positions on top by like just bending down and like riding it. You
It's
know?
probably Meg.
Right. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's why they call her like
The
knees.
Stallion.
Yeah, the Stallion. Exactly.
She
Anyways.
rides.
Damn, probably. Mine would be called the wobbly knees, right? Because I can only do it for like a little while, and I gotta like lean to one side and like do like a stanky leg on one side to like shake it out, and then like move to the other side. But yeah, just like just trying with all your heart to really. Anyways,
I'm sorry. I'm confused about what this position is, what's happening during
like you're
this
sitting,
position.
like you stand over.
We're
your
talking about
partner.
intercourse.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're riding on
Okay.
top.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So instead of being on your knees, you're on your feet. You know,
In a
Mhm.
squat.
In a squat.
Yeah, in a
Yeah.
squat. You know,
Got you.
but like the stank leg, but like wobbly
Yeah.
knees.
I got you.
I don't know. I was trying real hard.
Yeah, no, I got that. I got you.
Anyways, next question.
Wait, you answer the
Okay.
question.
Yeah. What would you do
What was the question?
if you had a signature sex move? What would
Uh-huh.
it be? And describe it. Yep.
Like the thing that I'm the best at?
No. Just if you could invent a sex move that you do and name it, what would it be? Let's keep it funny. Let's keep it wild. Let's keep it creative.
I could invent a signature sex move. I guess it would be like reverse cowgirl.
Okay, what would you name it though?
Backwards Tina.
Backwards Tina is literally what I was thinking. And my husband is going to make me ride him backwards now after listening to this because I don't think I've done that in like 6 years.
Well,
He's going to be like, you lying ass. He's going to be like, when was the last fucking time?
Anybody else? Heather?
The
pillow princess.
I'm not a pillow princess.
Nothing wrong with being a pillow princess.
I am definitely a slob the knob kind of girl.
Oh,
I'm a
friends in the family.
cup the balls kind of girl.
That's 100% what my husband wants at all times.
Yeah, I'm definitely a huck to a.
Like if he could just get a blowjob every day for the rest of his life with
He's
a little
a happy
ball
man.
play. I mean, aren't all men though?
Yeah.
If you had to give a TED Talk on how to give the best blowjob, our peanut gallery is nodding, saying they need some advice. What is your best advice?
Saliva. I'm going
Saliva.
Back, I'm going back to the
Literally.
saliva.
Saliva and using both your hands.
All the saliva you can like muster out of your whole body.
Yep. Drink water beforehand. Make sure you don't have cotton mouth because that's a fucking
that's
vibe
the
killer.
worst.
Vibe killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're like
You're trying to kiss. Yeah, you're like.
Like SpongeBob.
Yeah, you try to spit and dust comes out. Yeah, it's not the vibe. Yeah, you just SpongeBob when he's trying to live outside the water. Literally. Yeah. I would have to agree with Heather.
Okay.
And just be into it.
Yeah.
Like if you're like just be into it.
Yeah.
If you're going down on your male partner or your partner with a penis and you're
going down on any partner.
Right, but what I'm saying is if they have a knob.
Yeah. Slob on the knob then.
Slob on that knob.
Like corn on the cob.
Well, corn on the cob not really because you go on the side with corn on the cob and you kind of want to be like this. Not this way. You know what I mean? You know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. I know
you know what I mean.
So I figured we'll just keep sitting here dying laughing and eventually we'll just have a closing line.
Well, what are some of the questions that you were asking when you were over here and we were talking about?
Your grandmother finds your toy drawer. What completely made up lie do you tell her to explain it?
Grandma, I'm 30 years old.
I am not lying. First of all, why the fuck are you looking through my shit like that?
Granny, don't open drawers you don't want to see.
Second of all, I hope that she would be curious and
know what they were already.
Also, maybe not know what they were, but be curious enough to feel a little bit of pride.
Sorry. So what is the way that you open up to your partner to start the discussion of what you want in the bedroom?
Or like if you want to like try something new. So, I think there's a couple of different ways that you can do it. If you are a bit of like a shy person, when it comes to that kind of thing, you can always like text them maybe a link to something that you found on the internet.
And say you want to try it.
And say that you want to try it. Or maybe not so much that you want to try it. Maybe you just send them a link and you say, what do you think of this?
Yeah.
And give them the floor to say, I don't know about this. Or, oh, this looks really hot. And then that opens the conversation. You can send more. You sit down and you have the conversation with them in person by, saying like those texts were so sexy today. Like I loved texting back and forth with you. Like we should really try that if you're serious, or like we should really explore that concept more with each other. And you can start small. Something that I really love and like really turns me on is latex. And I think that Joe and I, neither of us were into that when we first met each other. And neither of us, that was not something that we had ever explored. But slowly, we've both been like, oh, that is like kind of sexy. You know what I mean? And it happens in small ways like, oh, I got you this small piece of latex. Do you want to see it on me?
Okay, wait. A small piece of latex.
Like a latex bra or latex gloves.
I'm like, are you handing him a balloon?
Or no, like, so actually latex is super, super expensive. So if it's something that you're into, it's an expensive hobby. It's an expensive fetish. So Like a latex dress can be like $500 easy, even just like a little mini dress. I have a skirt that's really cute. It's like just like a skater skirt, and it's something I could totally just wear to like the club or out to dinner, even if I wanted to. Like latex is fashion, in my opinion. It just so happens to be synonymous with like a very intense fetish and underground subculture. Him and I just kind of slowly introduced that to each other, also by like sending each other videos of like people in latex. And that was like a really fun and easy way for us to say, hey, you know what, we're both into this. Let's play with it. Even like a small pair of latex underwear. So let's say like your partner comes to you and says, hey, you know, I've like really been turned on by soapy bubbles. I love the idea of like taking a shower with you and like soaping you up. Right. And that is just like such an easy and expensive way to explore
Something different.
And it's not too kinky, right? It's not too scary, but it's super, super sensual. Like if you're in the bath, in the shower with somebody and you're slowly soaping each other up, amazing. Amazing. 10/10. So 10 out of 10.
All right, but let's switch it now. What if you're already having sex and the moment is already in front of you? What is a nice way to bring it up in conversation then? I feel like you could do a couple things.
I mean, I guess it depends on what it is.
Yeah.
And I guess it depends on how well you know your partner, because you wouldn't want to just spring something on somebody that you don't have a rapport with.
I was thinking more like guiding them to what you need and what you want in the moment during sex.
Yeah,
You know?
I am a big believer in just verbally asking for what I want.
Yeah.
But that takes a lot of work
Courage.
and a lot of courage. You know, it starts with just saying yes or no. I think every woman ever has had the experience of, you know, her partner trying to get her to orgasm.
And they're rubbing your left lip.
Yeah. And you're just like, what the fuck are you doing? Right? It is our moral responsibility to say,
To the right.
to the right, bro.
Up. Over.
Yeah.
There you
And
go.
guide them and do it and start there. Start with your orgasms, right? And then it will give you agency and it will give you the confidence to talk more about what you want when it comes to sex.
You had it right in the beginning when you were saying that you and your husband talk a lot during sex. Because if you're talking already, it makes it easier to say,
Yeah.
you know, quiet sex is really hard to be like, hey, you know, can you, by the
Because
way,
if you're quiet, you're in your head.
yeah.
And you don't want to be in your head during sex. You want to be in your body. And if you're feeling like you're in your head during sex, then it's okay to like take a moment and ground yourself and say to your partner, like, hey, I just need a moment. Can we just kiss? Can we just kiss? And that usually is a good reset. But, you know, not every sexual experience is going to be like perfect. And also like we have to forgive ourselves for that too. Just give ourselves space to like I said before, you know, the goal's not always like an orgasm.
I care more about the intimacy beforehand
Mm-hmm.
and feeling seen more before sex than I do during sex sometimes.
I can definitely relate to that. I think for me, for a long time, sex was about an emotional connection, and I was seeking an emotional connection through sex.
Yep.
Yeah, sex is so much more than a physical connection and a physical experience for us. It's a spiritual experience. We're literally giving our energy away, mixing our energy with another person's energy, and we're allowing them inside of us. That is a very intense, energetic trade.
I love thinking about it that way.
When I was younger, I didn't think about it that way.
You were a hoe.
But yes, I was.
And we love hoes.
Yeah, I definitely went through that phase of my life. I was really free and I really enjoyed my body and I really enjoyed sex. But I think for me, that also went hand in hand with kind of like a lot of self-destructive behavior. So I think sex is a really powerful tool for connection and healing, but I think it's also a really powerful tool of destruction. And you have to wield it like a sword. with intention, you know, or just like go out and have sex, as much sex as you want, if that's what you want. But you do it with intention.
What is something that you can do that makes you feel sexy even when you have no sex drive?
Okay, so a couple intimacy practices that I just kind of have for myself are pretty nightgowns and pretty nightwear that I wear around the house. It just makes me feel good. It makes me feel wanted. I know Joe loves it. He really appreciates it. So
I love lingerie.
Yeah, and I mean, not even like so much lingerie, but I just have like my little hoochie coochie shorts.
Yep.
My cotton house shorts where my butt cheeks hang out the bottom. And I wear a little crop top or a little bralette, or I wear like a little nightgown that's super short and it cotton. And that just makes me feel good. I like put lotion on myself. And so I'll usually do that when I like when I change into my pajamas. That's what I'll wear that around the house for the rest of the night. And that makes me feel good. And it puts me in the mood. It gets me prepared mentally. But I think, honestly, for me, it's not so much what I'm doing, but what my partner is doing.
Yeah, I could feel that.
And like what I really need is what I'm finding, what I really need at this point in my life, I should say, is I need him to be really emotionally engaged with me all evening. And I need the connection to be real and sensual, and that really puts me in the mindset.
It's like you're feeding off of his energy.
I'm totally feeding off of his energy, and it's really, really hard for me to go from 0 to 100, especially when I'm feeling this way. It's like I need to be primed all night. That's why I was saying like foreplay for me starts in the morning.
Yeah.
I want to feel desired all day.
Yep.
And that is going to put me in the frame of mind to
perform and like
literally perform.
Yeah.
Because I will. And I am a fucking rock star. Okay? I am Britney motherfucking Spears in the bedroom. Let me tell you something. Yeah.
Tell us more. I want to know.
I love you so much. You're so cute. I am a woman who is like super confident in her body and is not afraid to try new things sexually, because I know that the payoff is good for all, and it's a rush of chemicals into your brain that is better than any drug that you will ever try in your life.
Like, what are some things? Like, give us an example.
Like spanking.
Ooh.
You spank him?
No.
Taylor goes, do you spank him?
No. No.
We have a peanut gallery with us.
So Taylor's hanging out with us, and I love her. I always feel really motherly when I talk about sex around younger women who have not had the same experiences as me, and I love giving advice and I love sharing. So, down to answer all the questions.
Just think of her as your fairy godmother.
Your fairy fucking godmother. Yes. For instance, I think spanking is such an amazing experience, an example, because you can like start so kind of like light, and it doesn't have to be hard, but like with impact play, which is what that's called, right? There's an impact.
Yeah.
So it's called impact play.
Okay.
And with that kind of a thing, you get like this rush or release of endorphins when you feel that impact on your skin. And it is just, it doesn't have to be painful for it to have like this electrifying experience all over your body. It just makes all the hair on your body like stand up straight, and it just like a skunk runs over your grave.
Oh
like
my favorite saying that you say.
Oh
Every
God,
time you say it.
So a skunk ran over my grave is a saying that my husband introduced me to a million years ago that makes me laugh so
when you
hard.
Get the shivers.
That when you get the shivers, it's a skunk running over your grave in the future.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's like just the funniest thing I've ever heard. So
when you get goosebumps.
it just gives you like goosebumps. But this is the feeling that you get. It's like this, and then plus, you know, you're with your partner, you trust them, right? Hopefully. And there's kind of like this power exchange, right? So you're kind of like, oh, you're in charge, you know, and like they're not really in charge, right? Like you're in charge, right? You're calling the shots. Because if you wanted to stop, you just say, you know what? I don't want to do this. Yeah. And then it's over, right? So, but yeah, so something like spanking is maybe a little bit embarrassing to ask more to get started.
Nah, never been embarrassed to
but
ask for
once,
what you want.
but some
Smack me.
right, then you know what? Hell yeah, you go, girl. But some people are afraid to ask for what they want. So that's sometimes when it like a video can come in, or you know, when you are engaged in like a makeout session or something like with your partner, and you know, you can always just say like put you don't even have to say anything. You just take their hand and put it on your butt and start there, right? You're like, yeah, I really like it when you grab my butt. I really like it when you grab my butt. Okay, like, so then you put your hands on their hand and you squeeze their hand while it's on your butt, right? And so they get it. They're like, oh, you want me to squeeze? Okay, I'll squeeze. And then you like take both their hands and you put it on your butt cheeks and you squeeze both hands. And they're like, okay, she really wants me to squeeze her butt cheeks. And then you go like this to your butt. And then you've sent a very clear message. Hey, a little bit of impact is okay. I feel safe and I want you to do this to me.
You can also touch on that because most men are not worried about like walking through the kitchen and giving you a swat on the butt.
Mm-hmm.
So most guys are not intimidated to do it in that sort of fashion. So you could always just kind of turn around in that moment and be like, ooh, I like that.
I was just
maybe
totally.
Maybe you should try that later.
Totally.
Because that's a really flirtatious way to like get that. And then they'll be like, oh.
And it's a less
okay.
pressure feeling, you know, like there's way less pressure, I mean to say, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
I mean, let's be clear. I'm okay with being spanked, but don't smack me in the face or anything.
Yeah, I mean,
set those boundaries.
Set your boundaries. Yeah, exactly. So
set a safe word. Ours is pineapple.
Yeah.
For the podcast, pineapple.
I'm like,
so we can find the edits.
Yeah, that's so funny. I would totally agree with that. And like, if you're going to get into any sort of alternative play with your partner, you should be comfortable enough to have a verbal conversation with them.
Yep.
I think that we're all adults and, you know, your pleasure matters. And it's just going back to what I was saying before about being like intentional. Like part of being intentional is asking for what you want by using your words. So,
yeah.
And that goes for both partners.
Absolutely.
Oh, I love a vocal man.
Yeah. Words of affirmation. Literally. Yeah, me too. I love words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Definitely have like a little bit of a praise kink.
Mm.
That's my whole life.
Yeah. Gold stars.
Always.
Oh, it's so funny.
What is something you learned about yourself while dating?
That I love sex.
Perfect. Oh my God, I love that.
Love it. I used to be so afraid of it and feel uncomfortable and like not talk about it. But I think it was the person that I was with.
Always.
Absolutely, dude.
Ooh. How can we turn that into a discussion on here now?
We can't have a guest caller.
We can. She can like plug a microphone in and to her phone and literally join in.
What was the question?
I mean, we all
you could be a caller.
It wasn't a question. It was
what did you learn about yourself?
Mm-hmm. I mean, sex is so much better when you have it with someone
that you're attracted to,
that listens to you, that like is open-minded
and is confident within himself.
Yeah, and is confident within himself. So he's like taking the role and he's being masculine about it and like pushing it forward that like, I don't know, he's gonna take care of you, you know what I mean?
So you're a sub.
AKA.
Oh, I love it though.
Yeah. Are you?
Oh, let's talk about that.
I mean,
your inaugural sex episode. Sexist
episode.
Sexesipode. Oh, never mind.
Sepisode.
So essentially, I think, you know, I just wanted to come and hang out with you guys and talk about sex because I tend to give a lot of sex advice to my friends. You asked me what I want to talk about, and I said, let's talk about sex. Let's do sex. And it's just...
It's something that needs to be talked about more often.
Yeah, I think it's a subject that we need to continue to destigmatize. Yep. And I think for some reason our culture is like seeing a resurgence in like conservative and like purity culture. And I think we should fight that. We need to fight that. And we need to talk about female pleasure more. We need to, just make space for other, I don't know. Well, I can't stop listening to him snoring. Literally. This is hilarious. It sounds like so...
I wish I could get this closer.
You could definitely...
Hear him.
Oh, he's
Good
awake.
morning.
You guys talking about me? Where's the way? Stop talking about me.
All right, so the takeaways of today's conversation that we want our listeners to either go home and try.
Remember 3 things that we just talked about right now? Get real.
The takeaway is say what you want.
Ask for what you want.
Ask for what you want.
Use a lot of
The
saliva.
take it to is to use all the saliva, right? That is the takeaway.
Pick up the balls.
Pick up the balls, all the saliva. Okay, this is important. And our third one is not educational enough, I guess, this episode. More laughing than anything. Our third one is speak up.
Yeah.
That was the first one.
Yeah,
Well-
that was the first one and the third one. Our first
Her
and
phone
third
died
one.
again. So what was the third one?
Prime your woman all day long.
Ooh, yeah.
The foreplay starts
When you wake up.
outside of the bedroom.
Yeah.
That is the most important thing about today's episode. And
Yeah,
this is not
agreed.
the last time that we're going to talk about sex because we got a lot to say.
We just can't remember all of it right now.
Because after all, it's sleepover vibes. So the martinis might have talked for us. Mom, Dad, if you listen to this,
Sorry.
I'm so sorry. We'll warn
Sorry.
you in the beginning of this. Trigger warning. Parents, please leave before listening.
Yeah.
Tina, thanks for coming up here.
Thanks for having me, you guys. This was awesome.
Thanks for being my bestie
Oh,
and
I love you.
my sex therapist from these last 5 years and
I
walking
love
me
you so
through
much.
womanhood.
As the dirty
Gotcha.
sister, I wish I had more of a voice to be
More vocal.
in this conversation. But thank you for being here with us.
You were here in
Yeah.
spirit and Haktua goddess herself.
What does that mean? I was here in spirit. When?
Not me.
Oh, got you. I was like, oh, I don't need to be here for any of that.
That is the end of this episode. We hope you had so much fun.
See you next week.
time. A quick blessing before we go. May your mirror be kind, your coffee be strong, and your confidence slightly delusional.
You are the main character, the muse, and the movement.
We'll see you next chapter, babe.